introduce Reverend Vera McNally to come up for a moment.
Thank you, Chris. Hi. How's everybody doing? Good. I guess I have to talk into this. Okay. I do have a loud voice. You probably hear me anyway, but I had the opportunity last week to sit down with Reverend Valentine, had lunch, and we chitted and chatted. This is like coming home for me to the center here. I started out here with Reverend Doug, went to Rocky Mountain House, gave up the center, started a small spiritual center in Red Deer that was Minds for Science of Mind, and then decided that was enough because I burnt out. Then I met this wonderful man, went down east and had the most wonderful experience of my life. Came back, met another wonderful man, and have another great experience. And for me, it's like homecoming, and it's really special to see Reverend Valentine, Reverend Tress, and some of the other ones here, meeting some of the new faces and stuff. So when we talked with Reverend Valentine, I said to her, I said, well, what's happening at the center? And she said, not a lot. And so we got to talking. So I said, well, would you be open having me or other people do other courses or, meetups and stuff like that? And she said, absolutely. So some of the things that I had spoken to Reverend Valentine about was laughter yoga. Now, laughter yoga is something that is for mind, body, and soul. And it utilizes laughter and uses various, I'm sorry about that, I'm losing all my papers here. Breathing techniques and some yoga stretches. Nothing serious, nothing strenuous or anything like that. Just something that's a lot of fun. And laughter yoga is not about telling jokes. It's not about funny stories. It's about using your body movements and different things like that. Like I did one at a retreat center one time. We were laughing so hard. We had chickens laying eggs, actually, golden ones as well. And we had one lady that laughed so hard she literally wet herself. So if you're going to come, you might want to wear Depends because it is a lot of fun. So that is the one that we had spoke about. Another one is Power Animal Journeys. And what is a Power Animal Journey? It's a guided meditation connecting you to your spirit animal guide that can provide guidance and support. The journey often involves visualizing a descent into the lower world or the inner realm of your internal with a power animal. The benefits of a power animal journey is self-discovery. It can deepen understanding of one's inner self and personal strengths. Guidance and support. Power animals can offer guidance and support during challenging times. Increased awareness. It can foster greater awareness of one's own emotions and intuition. Connection to nature. And nature is so important for us because Mother Earth is our true mother that gives and sustains all life through the God essence that flows through Mother Earth. So when we connect to Mother Earth, it's a journey that can deepen for the natural world, and it also deepens within your heart. There's also, I would like to offer chakra balancing, and it's a practice that aims to balance your chakras, your centers, which are believed to affect the physical and mental well-being. Also, in my chakra course, I also have all the different dis-ease or ailments that are associated with it, but also the healing practice that goes with it if you happen to have that. So if you're heavy in the heart, that's your heart chakra. So you've got a lot of distress and stuff like that. That's where you would find that. Also doing some healing circles, like it could be a co-ed circle with men and women. I know sometimes women feel very uncomfortable sharing some of the deep secrets that they have. And so, it's a safe environment, or we can do a men's circle, or we can do a separate women's circle. So that's kind of on the agenda. So that's something that we could look at doing. If anybody's interested in anything like that, please let me know, let Valentine know. This will be my last Sunday, not forever, just my last Sunday here for the next 3 weeks, because I am going to go what you all recognize as camping. I call it forest bathing. And what is forest bathing? Okay, it is basically, it's a practice, therapeutic practice, and Valentine had said, how can you go there all by yourself all the time? I go in there. Yes, I still have camp. I set up my camp. I have a minivan that's a camper. And I go out there totally by myself. I play no music. I talk to nobody other than the trees, and I walk in the forest. And I'm in the moment. I'm in that instant moment. Nothing matters other than that. Yes, I'll talk to trees, and I'll talk to the flowers and stuff. I'll sit by a brook and just allow my feelings and my emotions and the stress of wherever I've been during that week or month. Sometimes I don't get out for a month, which is kind of sad, but I just allow myself to be one with Mother Earth. And I come back rejuvenated, alive, excited about life again. Because we all have stress in our lives. We all have things that come up. We all have sicknesses, and we have family that we deal with. And so I go out and just hold space for myself, and it's amazing. And I can eat whatever I want. No one's there to tell you can't eat that because it's not good for your body. So that's what forest bathing is, or called camping. All right, at this time, I'd like to bring up Reverend Valentine. We all know who Reverend Valentine is. She has been the backbone of this center for a long time. After, I believe, a couple of ministers had come and gone after Reverend Doug started the center. So let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Valentine. And I'm like Tress, I don't know how to turn these things off or on.
Thank you. I think I might give this to Tress.
Well, it's just the colors went wonky. It's kind of like life. Some days everything wonky. Well,
Everything is wonky. Okay, this one is on then, I gather. Okay, well, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate the fact that you have given your time and your space to be here in this spiritual community. So like today, we gather here. I got to talk into the mic. You can't hear me? Okay. All right. Our spiritual community honors and recognizes the divinity in all people. And for the last couple of weeks, Reverend Joanne has been talking about the seed, the soil, and the plant. And that's been something that we all understand. We relate to the seed as our thoughts, the soil of things that are around here, and the plants is what we create from that. Today, I would like to go a little bit deeper with that. I want to use that spiritual, powerful truth that lives in the heart of all of us. This truth is that we are powerful co-creators with the divine mind. And a lot of us don't understand that we truly are those powerful, powerful creators with that divine mind. And some of us may have different names for that divine mind. We may call it source, we may call it spirit, universal consciousness, higher power, and even God. We need to know that we are not passive observers in our life. We are active participants, powerful beings with the ability to shape our lives with the thoughts that we have. In our teaching, we say thoughts are things. And in Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says, we live in a spiritual system that responds to the nature of our thoughts. It's that incredible, powerful spiritual thought process that I'd really like to focus on today. Our thoughts are creative. They're filled with imagination and driven by our intention if we are conscious of it. But sometimes when we're not conscious of our thoughts, they just happen. But I'd like to talk today about the co-creation of intention, where we have the intention to create exactly what we want. You see, science is now proving what the spiritual thinkers have always thought about since the beginning of time. That imagination is an extremely powerful, creative, spiritual tool. And the good news is we have this spiritual tool. We've always had this spiritual tool, but sometimes we don't use it constructively. So listen to what Ernest Holmes says. Our word is creative, not because we will wish it or will it, but because that is the nature of our being. Our impulse to create comes from the original creative source, which is in us, around us, and through us. That is our nature, to create what we imagine and think about. So let me explain that. What I mean, there is such a thing as quantum physics in this universe. And we say everything starts with that unformed matter. Or as Ernest Holmes says, it's called undifferentiated stuff. And I can't even say that word properly. It's so big for me. It's the energy around us. According to quantum physics, that unformed matter reacts and responds to thoughts, perceptions, imaginations, ideas, and feelings. And this matter then becomes a thing we think about or that we perceive. We bring that into form. That's the simplest explanation I have for that. But the implications of that are very enormous. Because that means everything starts out as a thought or a perception or an idea in our own mind. And it is then flushed out by our imagination, which creates our mental equivalent. And our mental equivalent provides the picture or the mold for this stuff that we create and that we create through our mind. That's why we are truly co-creators with this universal energy. This energy that always creates for us what it is that we imagine. For it is whatever we have formed in our thoughts, and those things are conscious or unconscious. Think about back when you were a young child. You knew about all this. Our grandchildren, our children know this. That's what they do when they play and make things up. I'd like to share an experience with you that I had with my young granddaughter a few years back. She had some stuff, and it was kind of like funny glue. And I didn't know there was such a thing as funny glue. And she was taking pieces of little sticks and stuff like that, and she was making a dollhouse. And I said, how do you know what you want that dollhouse to look like? And she told me, when I asked her that, she says, however I want it to look like. I just imagine it. And the pieces I pick up and I glue them together. And I thought about that. I thought about that when I was writing this talk, what she said, that I just imagine it. And the pieces that I get, I glue them together. So what if our life is like that? We just imagine it. And the pieces that we attract to us are like magnets. And we just glue them together with our thoughts and our feelings. Well, it's true. Our imagination is the power that moves that creative universal mind that is within us, and it creates for us. And if you don't want what it created, we just have to change our thoughts, and the pieces fall apart. That's all that is. So remember, we are free to think what we want. And since our thoughts create our experience, we have been given the gift of choice. We are always free to choose what we want to think. And since what we think about is what we bring about, it's for us to get clear on our intention, to be free, to think thoughts that are not negative, that are not created in lack or limitation, that are not thoughts about us not being good enough, or thoughts that create worry and doubt and fear. Instead, we use our intention to choose thoughts of abundance, of love, of confidence, of health, of wisdom, of peace. Remember, our imagination, our intended imagination, allows us the ability to think from the end result. If we could stop our doubt and get back to our childlike faith and trust and belief in that divine mind, we could live in a state of grace all the time. We could imagine and create a more loving and abundant, peaceful life for ourselves. There's a bumper sticker that I've seen once before. Imagine world peace. So can you imagine world peace or personal peace? Let's try that. Let's just bring that to mind. So just relax and breathe deeply. If you wish and you feel comfortable, but close your eyes and trust. Can you imagine that all is well in your personal world? Feel how peaceful that world would be. Feel the peace that you would feel in your soul. Now move that feeling out to somewhere in the world when you know that there is strife and unrest. Imagine peace descending upon that area. Experience that peaceful feeling in your mind and just stay with it for a moment. Allow that peace to go through you and go to an area that you know needs help. So now just bring your thoughts back into this room. And as you were thinking that, and I looked at you, most of you became more peaceful. You had kind of a smile on your face. And I'm sure most of you felt more peaceful. You see, world peace can happen if we as a people would have a collective plan to hold the image of peace in our mind. There would be a shift in the global consciousness. We could create a tipping point. Our world is the way it is because not enough of us understand this. That we can have a better world when we first manage it and believe that it is possible. They did an experiment like this in Denmark. They had 200 people sit down and meditate about peace for 4 hours. And when that was happening, they proved that there was less traffic accidents, less violence, and there was less visits to the hospital. Imagine, less visits to the hospital. So we can create that peace in ourselves because that's what we need to imagine. Imagine the intention of peace in your life. And when you have that power and you align it with the creative power of the universe, all things are possible for you. There is nothing that is impossible. When we realize and align with the idea that we are the manifestation of spirit, we become co-creators with spirit for our higher purpose. When we experience ourselves as the extensions of God's divinity, we truly become more loving and attract more love into our life. When we live in the knowledge of universal good, we will experience greater abundance and prosperity in our life. This is the highest intention we can have, is the intention to love with the wisdom of co-creating with the divine. Let us turn that into an affirmation. So please repeat after me. Today I set my intention to co-create my life. And experience happiness, health, wealth, love, and wisdom. Experience health, love, and wisdom in all my relationships and in every area of my life. In all my relationships and in every area of my life. Now, if that is your highest intention, to live and move and have your being as the essence of the divine, there are 3 questions that you have to ask yourself to help you stay aligned in God's grace moment to moment. And these questions are essential questions to ask yourself if you want to live an extraordinary life. And the premise of these questions is that every moment you are at choice. This means that in every moment, the choice we make decides in what direction our life will go. So the first question is, will the choice I'm making at this present time help me to see abundance, prosperity, love, and good things in my life? Or will this choice cause me pain and limitation? What will that choice that you're making cause you? Spiritual teaching tells us that when we surrender a part of our life force that dwells on things that hurt us or wound us from the past, or resentment that robs us of our life force. And that's the biggest hindrance we have that stops us from having an extraordinary life today. So you see, we all have to choose to stay in today. What is life like for us today, rather than going back into the past and thinking of the things that stopped us from having a wonderful life? We need to stop those ideas from the past. And it is scientifically been proven that every thought we have and every emotion we have in our mind only lasts for 90 seconds until we decide to bring it back into our life. So think of that. 90 seconds is the only length of time that we need to feel something negative. We don't have to carry it on forward. But so many of us do carry that. We go back in thought and think about the things that weren't right. When I was writing this sermon, I came across something that really moved me. And the reason it moved me, it kind of has a little bit to do with this sermon, but not a lot. I have 4 friends right now that are in their 80s. And a lot of them are not healthy. And they're all looking for a place to move to, a home of some kind. And they're all sad because they have to leave their home that they have lived in for so long. And they have to get rid of so many of their things. So when I read this, I really thought about those 4 friends and the struggle that they're going through right now. And I want to share what I read with you. It's about a lady in her 80s that she had to move into a nursing home. And while she was waiting in the lobby to find out where her home was going to be, one of the orderlies walked up to her and said, "We're ready to show you your room. And I'm sorry that it's not very big and it's not very bright, but it's the best that we could do right now." And the lady said, "No matter what it is, I'll love it." And this surprised the orderly that the woman said that. And he said, "How do you think like that?" And she said, "It does not have anything to do with how it really looks like. My happiness is something that I decide ahead of time what to do. Whether I like my room or not does not depend on how the furniture is or what the color is or how much light there is in it. It's how I arrange my mind." That was so deep for me. It's how I arrange my mind. And I have already decided to love it. It's a decision I make every morning when I wake up. I have a choice. I can spend the day in bed recounting the difficulty I have with the parts of my body that no longer work. Or I can get out of bed and be thankful for the ones that do work. Because you see, each day is a gift. And as long as my eyes are open, I will focus on every new day and relive the happy memories that I have stored in my mind. Just for this time, I know that all the memories that I have in my mind are like the memories in a bank account. And I get to choose what memory and what feeling I withdraw each day from this bank account. I believe that our background and our circumstances may have influenced who we are, but we are responsible for who we become. So what memories are you storing in your mind? What are you putting in your mind that down the road you can withdraw and have happy memories, whether memories of who did you wrong or what was not right in your life? So that's that first question. So the second question, am I looking for what is right or for what is wrong in every encounter? What are you looking for? What is right or what is wrong? For instance, have you worried yourself sick about the things that go wrong in your life or the circumstances? If so, you are giving permission to your powerful, intuitive imagination to create the very thing that you're worrying about. Looking for what's wrong prevents us from seeing the goodness that exists in our lives. What would happen if we changed the lens through which we viewed our life? How would life be different if every time we looked in the mirror, you appreciated what you saw and loved about yourself rather than picking yourself apart? What might shift for you if you saw all the people that were in your life as divine beings that would help you grow, rather than looking at them and thinking of all the things that they have done wrong, in your opinion? What would happen if you listened to your partner and your children as if they were the most important thing in your life? What kind of abundance will you have in your life if you were looking for all the things that are right in it? When we look at the things that are right, we can let go of the pain that was in our life that caused us pain. So the third question would be, do I use challenging situations as a catalyst to grow and evolve? Or do I allow myself to react and complain and stay a victim about the things that happen to me? When we get our buttons pushed, it's not about the situation or the other person. It's about something inside of us that is looking to be healed or transformed. Just look at yourself next time you are in a crisis or a challenging situation with someone. What is it that your mind needs to learn and heal for yourself? Do you need to be less judgmental, less critical, less controlling? What changes do you need to make in your thought? So I want you to know, did you know that every major change we have is never on a good day? Do you know that? Stop and think. What happens on a good day? Nothing much. We just enjoy ourselves. But bad days, they cause us to take stock. They let us reset our buttons and begin anew. They say a breakdown is often required before a breakthrough. So when we choose to see the events in our life as opportunities for growth, we automatically transform painful moments into enlightened ones. This is the hallmark of mastery of our own mind. To see the troubles and tribulations as an invitation to grow and evolve to a deeper spiritual level. See, it's important for us to know that no matter what happens to our life, we have the ability to go through that. Because if we didn't, it would not happen in our life. So today, let's know that our intentions create a blueprint for the way we move through our world. When we focus our heart on kindness and love, we begin to act with compassion in all the areas of our life and all the interactions that we have with the people in our life. When we focus our intention on gratitude, we start to notice the abundance of the blessings around us. When we focus our intention on peace, we find it easier to calm our minds and our hearts during our life's challenges. Intention can be considered the prayer of our soul. So let's make our intention clear today. What do you desire for yourself and for other people that are in your life? What is this knowledge that you hold within you that has the power to create what it is you truly decide to have? This is the power of co-creating with intention. And so I invite you today to take a moment of stillness with me. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what is my deepest intention right now? For my family, for my health, the abundance or the peace that I have in my life? What do I truly wish to bring into my life? Let that intention rise up within you today and send it into the universal mind with love and trust, knowing that it will manifest. And give thanks for that intention. And just come back into the room. Remember, your intention is not just about what you want, it's about what you are becoming when you realize that you are a co-creator with the divine. So let today be the day you remember you are not separate from your source. You are a channel that co-creates with it. So let's commit to walking this path of intention with clarity, with trust, but most of all with love, and see how our life can change for the better. I thank you today for being here today, and thank you for your energy, your presence, and your willingness to co-create a world with greater love. So let us pray together. Divine Spirit, we open ourselves to the power of intention. And as we go and co-create with you, may we always set our heart on what is good. May our intention guide us in all that we do, and may we trust that every step we take is in alignment with the highest good for ourselves, our family, and the world that we live in. And so it is.